Hello, it's 30 minutes past 9. I welcome you to another exciting edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from MFM TV 97.3, where we set the agenda and project the truth. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV, and as you're watching us, do us like, comment, and share. Moreover, this program is in form of three segments. The first segment is the weather forecast report of three major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan. Where the second segment on the show is the headlines. Make round of Nigerian newspaper, and as usual, let's bring four newspaper to you: the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and the Nigerian Tribune. Where the last segment on the show is the details to the headlines. My name is SHAQEEROH AKINYEMI. To the first segment on the show, which is the weather forecast report. And the first that I'll bring you on is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. At 10 a.m. in Abuja this morning, it's mostly sunny with 28 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. it's mostly sunny with 29 degrees Celsius, and at 12 p.m. it's mostly sunny with 30 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. it's mostly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius, and at 2 p.m. it's mostly sunny with 32 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. it's mostly sunny with 33 degrees Celsius, and at 4 p.m. it's mostly sunny with 32 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. it's partly sunny with 32 degrees Celsius, and at 6 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. it's partly cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius, and at 8 p.m. it's intermittent cloud with 28 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius, and at 10 p.m. it's thunderstorms with 25 degrees Celsius. At 11 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
Moving on to the commercial city of Lagos. At 10 a.m. in Lagos this morning, it's thunderstorms with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 11 a.m. it's mostly cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 12 p.m. it's intermittent cloud with 30 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. it's partly sunny with 31 degrees Celsius, and at 2 p.m. it's intermittent cloud with 31 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 32 degrees Celsius, and at 4 p.m. it's cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. it's cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius, and at 6 p.m. it's cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. it's cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius, and at 8 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius, and at 10 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 11 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. Moving on to the last city on the first segment, which is the vibrant city of Ibadan. At 10 a.m. it's 1 degree Celsius, and at 2 p.m. it's intermittent cloud with 33 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 32 degrees Celsius, and at 4 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. it's cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius, and at 6 p.m. it's cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius, and at 8 p.m. it's cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. it's cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius, and at 10 p.m. it's cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. At 11 p.m. it's cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
So moving on to the second segment on the show, which is the headlines make round of Nigerian newspaper. And the first newspaper I'll bring you on this morning is the Punch The latest story on the Punch newspaper this morning says, newly acquired presidential jet flown to South Africa, and page 2 has the details to that story. And there is one right after that story that says, Tinubu using leased aircraft for foreign local travels, and page 2 has the details to that story. The line of Punch newspaper this morning says, DHQ links foreign herdsmen to Benue, Plateau killings, and page 7 has the details to that story. Tinubu, Trump, world leaders congratulate American Pope, and page 11 has the details to that story. Punch newspaper this morning says, Nigeria taps additional $250 million World Bank loan for palliative, and page 19 has the details to that story. Alimakura Masari mobilized CPC block for Tinubu, and page 10 has the details to that story. Labour Party crisis, Akpabio tells Obi as Oti demands Abure's arrest, and page 7 and 9 has the analysis to that story. Story says US helicopter firm may face criminal charges, and page 19 has the details to that story.
Jungle.
Marketers warns federal government against hasty fuel import ban, and page 20 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
UK police recover Nigerian teenagers' corpse inside the lake, and page 4 and 5 are the details to that story. Story on the Punch newspaper this morning says, Labour Party votes to defeat APC in Lagos local government poll, and page 7 has the details to that story. To the Vanguard newspaper. The latest story on the Vanguard newspaper this morning says, Tinubu, Trump, Obi Hall provost on emergency as probe, and page 10 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
are three riders to that story. The first rider says, pick Leo XIV as proper names. Another rider says, U.S. Pope and Honor, says Tinubu. New chapter in history of Catholic Church, says Tinubu. And the last rider says, Obi Lance College of Canadian on new Pope, and page 10 has the details to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
Vanguard newspaper says Discos records 78% collection efficiency despite supply hiccups, and page 19 has the details to that story. As APGA Soludo adopts Tinubu, and page 5 has the details to that story. Block Owerri, Okugwe Road, killed travelers, bought several vehicles, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Story says Senate stands still for late Edwin Clark, and page 8 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
To brainstorm on government performance at midterm, and page 5 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Jungle.
Senate passes tax reform bill, meets preps on final draft, and page 3 has details to that story. I will not step down for false allegations, says Embato Akpabio, and page 3 has the details to that story. Guardian newspaper, another story says Usman lead Labour Party committee suspend Abreu Farouk for 6 months, and page 3 has the details to that story. Guardian newspaper says grid collapses, 4 trillion naira debt stall Nigerian transition to competitive market, and page 16 has the details to that story. Assembly crisis. House of Rep issued Benue, Samvara Governor a week ultimatum, and page 6 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Says 2025 UTME results consistent with 12 years trend, and page 12 has the details to that story.
Jungle.
I was shown at 7th position in national examination rating, says Adeleke, and page 22 has the details to that story. Polio HIV's era begins, and there is one reader to that story that says how Robert Francis provoked first American probe image, and page 20 has the details to that story. Says APGA has adopted Tinubu for 2027, and page 28 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And there is one reader to that story that says, as president, defends economic reforms, and page 28 has the analysis to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Seeks confirmation of nominees for regional commissions, and page 21 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And there is one writer to that story that says Adetumbi to Chia Southwest, Unkuchu to Chia South South, and page 21 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And last story on Nigerian Tribune this morning says 2027, the defunct CPC chieftains, Abbas, Niger, Katsina Governor, Al-Makore other place loyalty to Tinubu, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
mọ́ọ̀gì tó ṣe é kò tí ì gbóná láti fi jóúnjẹ náà rẹ́yìn towel customized cap t-shirt pen àti àwọn iṣẹ́ printing mìíràn lọ́nà kan jọ̀kan. iléeṣẹ́ Star Mike multimedia concepts ló wà ní ojú ọjà Mọ́kọ́lá ní ìlú Ìbàdàn. ẹ lè rí wá sórí 08071486599 08131931183 tàbí ẹ kàn sí wọn lójú òpó ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ ti Facebook Ọ̀pádòkun Samuel lórí Instagram @ostarmike àti lójú òpó X @ostarmike. Star Mike multimedia concept ṣàgbèrò rẹ̀ ṣíṣe dọwọ́ tiwa.
The Aces Hotels and Conference Center is one and only event place with a clear difference and tasteful excellence here in the ancient city of Ibadan. For your next and upcoming event, whether marriage engagement, wedding reception, anniversaries, conferences, seminars, or birthday, the Aces Hotels and Conference Center is affordable and fully equipped with all imaginable ultra-modern facilities for your total convenience without headache, security, power, environment, parking space, and royal service by their staff. All roads lead to the Aces Hotel and Conference Center today at 2.5 Ijokodo Akbete Akufo Road, Akere, Ibadan. For booking and more information, call 080-8746-7420, 080-9744-1898, or 080-2869-0012. The Aces Hotels and Conference Center, where comfortability speaks in words.
ọ̀rẹ́ mi gbà mí gbogbo àwọn ọ̀nà ìpínlẹ̀ mi ti dógùn kódà gbogbo àwọn táìsì tí ń bẹ nílé mi kò wúwo lójúmọ́.
ibo ló ti rà á.
ṣé nígbà àwọn kan ti ń tàlẹ́ ìlú ọ̀nà.
o ti sọ wọ́n gbówó tí o ti gbọ́n pa ilé ìtajà Starland Homes Wear Enterprise. ó kù nígbà àwọn òdùdù. ilé ìtòdójúkọ ilé ìfowópamọ́ Keystone Bank agbègbè Àbáyọ̀mí ìgboro nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. báwo lẹ ṣe fẹ́ sí àwọn ilẹ̀kùn ayẹta àwọn táìsì tí ó gbóhùn ìyà tí ẹ wà bá ilé àwọn àgbà omi lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan níbi ṣíìtì eléyìí tí ó gbé àwòrán ilé jáde àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ gbogbo rẹ̀ ló wà lórí kan náà lọ́dọ̀ Starland Homes Wear Enterprise fún gbogbo kọ́lékọ́lé àti àgbàlékọ́ gbogbo àwọn ohun èlò ilé eléyìí tí ó sọ ní ìrẹ́dì àwòdàmì ẹnu ọ̀dọ̀ Starland Homes Wear Enterprise ní ilé àkàsí ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 0708-760-5119 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0708-760-5119 Starland Homes Wear Enterprise fún ojúlówó àwọn èròjà ilé tó ní owó lójú.
Welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. You are now in the last segment from the newspaper this morning. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM Radio and TV. And as you're watching, also well to like, comment, and share. And the first story I'm bringing out this morning says newly acquired presidential jet flown to South Africa. At least 20.3 billion naira was spent on the maintenance of operational the presidential air fleet from July 2023 to December 2024. The Punch report, this was a new presidential jet purchased last year, has been flown to South Africa for the reimbursement and upgrades. Friday by the Punch correspondent, a civil tech platform that tracks and analyses the federal government splendidly relieved that for 2024, the payout amount of 14.5 billion naira, representing 71% of the allocation for the fleet in 2024 fiscal year. Most disbursements were late forex transit fund, usually fund allocated for foreign exchange. Requirements facilitate international transaction and engagement. For the presidential air fleet, such funds over the expenses related to operation abroad, including fuel purchases, maintenance, or service in foreign currency. In July 2023, 1.52 billion naira was disbursed in two tranches of 846 million naira and 775 million for presidential air fleet for ex-transit funds. The following month, 3.1 billion was disbursed in 3 tranches of 388 million naira, 2 billion naira and 713 million naira for the same item. In November of that year, 1.26 billion naira was released to Presidential Air Fleet Nigeria Naira Transit account. The first overhead of 2024, which is May, when 1.27 was disbursed, twice amounting 2.54 billion naira. The transit account received 6.35 billion naira in April. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Marketers warns federal government against a state fuel import ban. Marketers have held that Nigeria cannot ban fuel importation now, saying that the country refining capacity is still low. The marketer, under the aegis of Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria and the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, said any ban on fuel importation now could trigger scarcity and hike in fuel price. The Punch report that under the President Bola Tinubu Nigeria First policy, the president directed on Monday that no procurement of foreign goods or service already available locally shall proceed with the justification and written waiver for Benue of public procurement. M claimed that the country refining capacity has increased, and comments by the founder of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery, Aliko Dangote, that the facility can meet local fuel needs. There is speculation that ban might be extended to the petroleum products. However, speaking out to Punch correspondent, the National Vice President of the HIPMAN, Ahmed Fashola, mentioned that the federal government should not think of banning fuel import this time. According to him, some other products are essential to people lives that any have to spare the importation ban policy, especially if local product. The Defense Headquarters links foreign expense to Benue Plateau killings. The Defense Headquarters has attributed a recent spate of violent attack in Benue, Plateau, and other parts of Nigeria to foreign heads to have inflated the country through this porous border. Speaking during the press briefing in Abuja on Thursday, Director of Defense Media Operation, General Marcos, said the linguistic and physical evidence suggests that many of the attackers are not Nigerian national. He further explained that their accent to intonation as well as their hair texture clearly identified them as foreigners. Kenya comments comes and growing outrage over the recent ethnic farmer crush that the left 100 days a 1,000 replaced. Many victims are now sheltered internally displaced person camps across the affected state. Benue State Governor, Reverend Aichi Alia, has previously alleged that the foreigners were abusing the ECOWAS protocol on free movement to enter Nigeria and wreak havoc. While acknowledging that some Nigerian ETSA also contribute to clashes, Kenya emphasized that the most violent incidents are mostly perpetrated by non-Nigerians. He called for stronger collaboration between security and borders agencies to monitor and manage Nigeria's extensive frontiers effectively. Kenya also highlighted recent military success, including the arrest of notorious arms dealer and kidnapping kingpin Buhari Umar, who has a long terrorized community in Gombe, Bauchi, Plateau, and Kaduna State. Additionally, Trump affirms a 5-man kidnapping syndicate in the Lafia local government area, Nasarawa State. The suspects were identified as Azam Mohammed, Sali Sani, Idi Yusuf, Adamu Dambe, and Azam Bello. In the southeast, the military neutralized a wanted gang leader, Nkechi Eze, Alia Onowu, who was responsible for orchestrating several attacks and kidnapping. He said that in April alone, Trump rescued 173 kidnapped victims and received the surrender for over 204 terrorists and their family members. Furthermore, 430 suspected oil thieves and other criminals were arrested, while Trump of Operation Delta Safe trapped oil theft worth over 1.93 billion naira in 1 week. And details of the news is on Punch newspaper.
Audio Jungle.
Of the project, which is estimated cost of $25 billion of the project, which is estimated cost of $25 billion. Benali also said that Morocco has finalized the feasibility. Benali also said that Morocco has finalized the feasibility of engineering study needed for the pipeline. According to Morocco industry experts, the project has already passed the feasibility study and front-end engineering design stage. The gas pipeline, now called African Atlantic Gas Pipeline, will connect Nigeria gas network with Morocco's southern city and Dakar and go northward toward Europe. The line will pass through 15 African countries, boosting trade development and access to electricity in the region. In phase 1, it will link Morocco to gas field near electricity in the region. In phase 1, it will link Morocco to gas field near Senegal.
Audio Jungle.
Another story says, solve Labour Party crisis before waving for presidency. Akpabio towns Obi. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio on Thursday threw a jab at ex-Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, urging him to focus on resolving the internal crisis within his party before aspiring to lead Nigeria. Akpabio issued a town during the valedictory season in honor of the late Niger Delta Elder Statesman and former Federal Commissioner for Information, Chief Edwin Clark. He suggested that Obi's vision of the national issue would be better grounded if the force demonstrates leadership within his own party, which is enemies to protected leaders' crisis. The Senate President constructed Obi's track record of his own achievements in governance, citing infrastructure, development, investment in health and education, and religious unity efforts during his time in governor. Akpabio removed a reaction to Obi's comments made a day earlier during his tribute to Clark, where the former Anambra governor claimed that the sacrifice of Nigeria's past heroes has been in vain. Obi pointed to the worsening economic and social condition in the country evidence. Describing Obi's remark unfounded and disrespectful, Akpabio, through his chief press secretary, Fred Uta, insisted that re-election was correct.